Insider Fare, we are going to talk about comments that Steve Harvey made in reference to Lori Harvey during his appearance on an episode of The Pivot. So Lori Harvey is, I would say she's. I don't think it's a stretch to say that she is viewed as very close, if not at the top of the food chain, in terms of
Modern.
desirability. Yeah, in
Okay.
terms of desirability, especially in the entertainment industry. She has had several high profile situationships slash relationships with the likes of people like Future, probably most famously Michael B. Jordan, and Franklin from Snowfall, otherwise known as Damson Idris. Uh, and so, she's very famous for the way that she approaches her love life. Is very Drake like. Everything is wrapped up in NDAs and legalese. You can't talk about it publicly or so on and so forth because then you're legally liable. She really does handle herself like an actual commodity. Uh, you know, uh, if broken, you're subject to fines and penalties type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve Harvey was on the pivot, like I said, and they asked him about how he deals with this scenario and Lori and the way that she goes about handling these various situations and Steve Harvey touched on how he even handles her exes and the treatment towards him once the relationship ends and all of that good stuff. So if I can find the article, let's see, Steve, do I have it pulled up? Yeah, it's definitely pulled up. There it is. It's at the top there. So this says Steve Harvey reveals how he handles Lori Harvey's exes. Steve Harvey discussed running into one of Lori Harvey's exes and how she wanted him to handle the situation during Tuesday's episode of the Pivot podcast. He explained that she wanted him to view her exes as his own exes. The conversation began with him noting that it's been hard for him to watch her date in the public eye. Steve added that Lori's status as a celebrity attracts a certain cat. Let's see. I'm skipping past the quotes because I'm just going to play the video. Lori Harvey has been involved in multiple high-profile relationships over the years. She's been linked to Future, Michael B. Jordan, Damson Idris, and more celebrities. The most noteworthy of them was Jordan, whom she dated from 2020 to 2022. She previously addressed her breakup on an episode of his morning show. I feel fine. I'm fine. I still got to go to work. I still got to take care of my family. He said jokingly at the time, I'm Team Lori 1,000%. She's my daughter. I love her. I support her. So here is the man himself, Steve Harvey, talking about how he handles Lori Harvey's dating life and her exes.
As she's gotten older, and now you can't tell the men, I'm going to do to you what you do to them. How difficult has it been to see Lori date now?
It's hard, man. I ain't gonna lie, it's hard. I've had to swallow some things, And I feel for her because she's in the public. She's a brand ambassador. So she makes a really good living promoting products, wearing clothes, jewelry, makeup, skincare line, bikini line. I got it. But man, see, I gotta be real careful because Lori, boy, she be in my ass. I can't make no mistakes. I can't make stuff. I saw one of her exes somewhere at a game somewhere, and I shook his hand. Boy, I can't even touch his ass no more. I better not acknowledge him or look at him or nothing no more. So I'm off limits. If you are ex, your ass is my ex too. That's the rule. The rule in our house is any boy that's an ex, he's now my ex too. I must hate him like we was dating. It's been hard, man, because her life has had to be played out in the public eye. People don't understand when, like you understand, you have an attractive daughter that's in the light. It'll attract a certain
demographic of men.
Yeah, certain cat, man. And cats that's got more know that they got more to offer so they can come quicker. You know what I mean? So it's been difficult, man, watching her. But she's very smart. And everything they say online, I know it's never true. I hate it for her. But I think she's figuring it out now. I hope, and I think she's learned from her mistakes like you want your children to learn from their mistakes. But she's an adult, and I don't get a say-so in it.
Hold up. Limitless. Niggas to me cap pinning it.
There you go. All right. So what did you think about that?
Fair assessment there. I can resonate with his whole situation there. Hey man, like you mentioned, she's in tier 1 right now as far as how the internet is concerned. So she's in tier 1. So if she is in tier 1, yeah, there's going to be, a lot of dudes from all walks of life trying to shoot their shot over here. And so much like how he said, she's living her life in the public. Hey man, even when we were coming up, man, and whether it was high school or college, at your job, you know what I'm saying? You know about whatever, female and her little dating situation where she'll be either dating, have a boyfriend and break up with the guy, or she was dating somebody at the job and then broke up with the guy. Like, people know about, regular situations where girls are dating and figuring it out. And when she's dating and has this boyfriend or a situationship, he's smashing, but it's a local situation. Everybody don't know about it. And so for Harvey, this girl here who's living like a modern woman, yeah, everybody knows about her hit list at this point. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know who smash. So that's kind of wild for being the father. And I'm sure that's wild for her too. But him mentioning that she's figuring it out and moving different and doing whatever, that I guess that comes with the territory of, being a public figure nowadays with social media and stuff. But yeah, man, handling it with a situation of, hey man, my daughter broke up with this guy. I'm sure it was for good reason. And treating it in a standoffish way, not dapping them up, not doing all that other fun business or whatever. Yeah, man, that's not it. The way I look at it is, if I broke up with a female and I was cool with their, with the mom. I've known people who would still try to talk to the mom, or whatever. It's like, hey man, you broke up with that girl, man. Why are you still trying to be friends with that person's family and stuff? Like, like, leave it alone, man. To me, it's a little strange. It's crossing lines. So I would only imagine me being a father and, my daughter going through a situation, with a dude, and hey, I broke up with that clown for a reason. He's a clown to me. And I'm not dapping up a clown. I don't care what kind of politics he try to play to either get back in her good graces, or I don't know what all that stuff's about. But keeping everything at arm's length, being the father, yeah, it makes sense, man. So all in all, I agree with everything that he had to say there. Real down to earth responses. And yeah, man, when you got a daughter that's considered number 1 in the country, yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of teams trying to beat that up, man. So, but what are your thoughts, bro, on what Steve Harvey had to say of how he has to treat his daughter's love life? What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I agree with you. It looks like he's an involved father, which to me, now, having an involved father does not guarantee that having an involved father doesn't guarantee that a woman won't stray off the beaten path.
Right.
But it does give you a good chance of her not straying off the beaten path. In life, there are no guarantees. You have a lot of women who came from good, strong 2-parent households, and they still ended up for the streets. And so it really, there's no guarantee. But I think it gives you having an involved father gives you a greater chance of not straying off the beaten path. So it kind of sounds like he's involved and he can't control, unless like I put myself in the shoes of a father of a daughter. I don't have a daughter. I don't have children, but I would imagine that if I had a daughter, um, I would feel like I had some kind of quasi say so in some of your personal decisions if I was still involved in maintaining your livelihood in any capacity.
Yeah, yeah.
If you were living under my roof, or if I was helping you with your rent, or if I was helping you pay any of your bills or anything like that, I would feel I would, if I didn't like some of the decisions that you were making, I would feel all the more empowered to unmute and voice my displeasure. But if you're completely autonomous, I really only can give you my view or my opinion, but at the end of the day, I can't control anything. You're truly grown because you're autonomous. You can take care of yourself. So there's not really much that I can do. So in the situation in which there is not much I can do because my daughter is completely autonomous, at that point I can only hope that I have imparted enough of my presence throughout her life that she doesn't become for the streets and stray off the beaten path. Now, of course, when we're talking about Hollywood and the entertainment industry, not being for the streets takes on a different meaning than in regular civilian world. But even within the parameters of the entertainment industry, for an individual as desirable as her, she is as much not for the streets as I could tell, based upon my observation from afar. Now, having said that, you know, uh, her publicly profiled situations, to me, and this might sound a little weird, they are encouraging. She used, in according to Perplexity, she was engaged to a soccer player named Memphis Depay back in 2016. Then she had the future situation in 2020, but since then it kind of seems like she's cleaned it up. And then she went from Future to Michael B. Jordan, and that was everybody's fairy tale romance, especially black people. And then from Michael B. Jordan, she went on to Damson Idris, who by all accounts looks like the British version of Michael B. Jordan. They kind of look like the same guy. It's just Damson Idris is from the UK. My point in saying that is, one of the things that we've actually been talking about this on the channel now for a couple weeks. One of the things that kind of bothers me with relationship commentary, especially the double talk 304 in the streets, weird talk that comes from a lot of women these days, is there seems to be a lack of accountability for poor choices. Like, a lot of women these days will unmute to talk about the nature of men, how they behave or do things in ways that don't lend themselves to stability or building a family or being a good husband or being a strong um, provider or a strong pillar within the family setup, that kind of talk that they'll do. But at the same time, I never really hear them holding themselves accountable for over and over again engaging in their own brand of insanity and choosing the same men who are going to give them the same results. So there's this aspect of their pathology which sort of knee jerk leaps to looking at men as the issues for why their relationship life is an abject failure, without taking into account that those aren't the only men in existence. Like you can change your reality if you just switch up your strategy and how you go about dealing with men, and then you'll probably get different results. But you can't have it both ways. And so, like, an ongoing theme for me, especially the last couple of weeks, has been an inability on the part of some, not all, but some women, to hold themselves accountable for making poor choices when it comes to men. Not saying that men are absolved, because once again, men are ultimately the most responsible, because men are the gatekeepers for marriage, children, and family. So ultimately, men are most responsible for relationship slash marriage slash family dysfunction. But women do play a role in said dysfunction as well. And I believe their role comes from their propensity for repeatedly making poor choice after poor choice. for whatever reason, thinking that it's going to be different. And the reason why I bring all of that up is because I kind of look at Lori Harvey's track record, and she didn't go from a professional athlete to a rapper back to another rapper or a professional athlete. She went to a guy who's been called corny publicly in the entertainment industry. You know what I'm saying? Remember when we talked about Michael B. Jordan calling out that interviewer because he felt some type of way about the fact that years ago she called him corny?
Mm-hmm.
In certain circles, Michael B. Jordan is kind of looked at as like the good guy, well-to-do, the anti-future, if you will. And she's with that guy.
Russell
And
Wilson.
now, there you go. and, and now, and now she's no longer with Michael B. Jordan, to a lot of people's dismay, but she's now with this guy, Damson Idris, who kind of looks like I said, the British UK version of Michael B. Jordan, kind of a normal guy. Other than, of course, him being an actor or whatnot, he's involved in the entertainment industry, but there isn't the same level of inherent
rock star.
Yes, there isn't that same level of inherent toxicity that comes with maybe an NBA player or an NFL player or a guy like Future. And I believe that is at least tangentially related to the presence of Steve Harvey as like as a present father figure. Now, am I saying that Steve Harvey is the perfect father? No, I don't know how good a father he is. I'm not in their household. I am not trying to speculate on that level. But he speaks on what she has going on conscientiously enough for me to believe that he is at least an involved participant in the goings on of her life. And so, hey, man, she might be dating in a masculine way, making dudes sign NDAs and whatnot. But it would be one thing if she was bouncing around from rapper to rapper, from NBA player to NBA player, or from NFL player back to another rapper. But, she goes, she dipped her toe in that pool. And at least publicly, she's moved on to guys that, a lot of women who like guys like Future would probably call boring. I would imagine a lot of women who love guys like Future probably look at Michael B. Jordan and call him boring. They may not always call him corny like Russell Wilson, but you know how these women think. They'll probably call him boring or lame or not exciting or a lot of the other stuff that a lot of these modern women like to put out there these days. That's how they would characterize a guy like that. And yet here she is frolicking around with them. So I kind of feel like it's a step in the right direction from her. And I do, at least in small part, attribute that to Steve Harvey's presence. So, yeah, I agree. I like what he had to say. I'm not the biggest fan of Steve Harvey, just like I'm not the biggest fan of any celebrity, but I'll call it how I see it. And in this instance, I see it fairly.
Yeah. And mind you, him saying that her being a brand ambassador and all these other things. So she doesn't act, as far as I'm concerned, but she's in the industry. She is an industry person. So she's going to date industry guys.
100%.
And so, that is what that is. I don't know what that world's like. I'm because Harvey, I'm not to get sidetracked, but Harvey, he's got the baby oil accusations. He was I mean, there's a compilation on TikTok, man, of him just talking about baby oil in erotic ways on numerous occasions on his show. So, and of course, there was already rumors and stuff with him being with the Diddler and things. So, I say this stuff to say this is that, we're dealing with a community of people who do things that are strange. But as you mentioned, as far as her list is concerned, it's pretty straight up and down, but everybody know who hit. And it's another thing because I think we also brought up her NDA situation. We had a topic where she was out here making dudes sign NDAs.
She does, yeah, very famous. That's why I said she's like the female Drake, because that's famously Drake is like the NDA guy, and she's the NDA woman. She's she's ironclad, like she got it sold up tight.
Yeah, she got to figure it out. So, and I think that's kind of where he was coming from in a situation of, she has this under control kind of a thing. So I let her do her kind of a number. And for the most part, she does seem to be operating autonomously. Having things figured out. I mean, she's got enough people. That's what I'm saying. Like when you have, if your father is Steve Harvey, you've got a limitless amount of resources at your disposal. People who know how to handle things the right way. And the only thing you have to do is just tap into that, and they'll give you the right financial advice, the right whatever kind of advice, how to handle relationships, how to handle this and do that. Like if you tap in, and it seems like she moves very strategically. So so be careful, fellas, if if you are dating her. All right. Because as far as I'm concerned, she's the only female that I know in the industry that makes dudes sign NDAs. So
We'd have to
so
look
yeah,
that up. I doubt she's the only one, but
no, she's not the only one. No, she's not
the
the
most
only one.
famous. She's
Yeah.
definitely the most notable one for sure.
I would say this. She's not the only one. She's not the first, but she's the only one I know about. And that's saying something. And that's saying something. And every time I look at her, I don't take her for somebody that's aloof. She seems very calculated as a person. That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's kind of what I got from Steve. Steve listens to her. So she has things figured out. She knows what she's doing, and so she's playing her cards right, So now, mind you, now I agree with you in the sense that, he gave her the right environment for her to learn how to play cards. But I think she's playing her own number right now. You know, not through direct guidance, but definitely through his assistance, because again, people don't just learn that out of nowhere. So I think I take her as a very astute person who is very strategic, very thought out, and so far, because she was looking like she was going down this path to messiness, but her name got out of the rumor mill real quick. Stop hearing about her completely, and that's a testament to getting your brand in order.
Well,
So
it's a testament to learning how to make better choices if that's something that you don't want for yourself.
yeah,
Like, ladies, if you want a guy to be committed to you and to not stress you out and not put you through hell, you should probably gain the wherewithal to learn how to select the right kind of men who are going to give you the better chance to provide that for you. But if you keep dating the same kind of men all the time and you get the same kind of results, at some point it becomes a you problem, not a man problem, because not every man is like that. It just so happens that it's the men you want who are like that. So you need to take inventory as to why it is that you want those men who are going to do that to you. And so I think it's a testament to better decision making, because it's harder to stay out of the rumor mill and stay out of messy situations when you're dealing with messy people. You're far more likely to remain in messy situations and in the messy TMZ rumor mills when you're dealing with messy people. So if you don't want to be in messy situations or deal with messy rumors, don't date messy people like Future. It's very simple. Most women, it would appear as though a lot of women don't have the ability to do that. They just, I don't know what it is. It's a blind spot for them. They like what they like, and so they'll keep jumping back in that toxic pool. And then when short hits the fan, they blame the guys. When there's the whole huge population of men over here on this side swimming in clean water who ain't gonna give you that kind of trouble, but you don't want them. So once again, I say that that's a you problem. And for her, it kind of looks like she's gained the wherewithal to make better choices, because if she wanted to remain in messy situations, she keep getting with guys like that. But yeah, as far as and I watch Snowfall and all of those, you know what I'm saying? And Michael B. Jordan, these guys aren't messy. Michael B. Jordan's not a messy guy. And Idris, he's not a messy guy. So it kind of looks like she's cultivating a track record for herself that is the antithesis of messiness, which to me shows that she is comfortable enough in her own skin to make the kind of decisions that one needs to make in order to be involved in the right kinds of environments. Which is a form of decision making that is atrophied from a lot of women these days, in my opinion. Not all, but a lot. And I do, once again, attribute her ability to make those kinds of decisions, at least in small part, to the constant presence of Harvey, Steve, who's, I would imagine, around in certain respects, even though she can do whatever she wants.
Mm-hmm.
He probably has enough of an influence over her decision making to where she's like, maybe I shouldn't do this or that because it's not a good idea, so on and so forth. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I champion. Not that she's, I don't expect her to not do the celebrity stuff, to not
Yeah.
do the Hollywood stuff. That's far fetched. Of course, she's going to do the celebrity stuff and the Hollywood stuff. I'm just looking at the associations. And for me, it would be one thing if she was jumping from one rapper to the next, or NBA players and NFL players, like I said, but she's not doing that. She's jumping onto these clean cut Hollywood guys. So that I do think that there's something to be said for that. And so, shouts out to her for being able to do that, albeit the fact that she does it in a very masculine way.
Yeah. Hey, well, her dad told her to think like a man, right? And so, hey, man, all this gonna go out the window when she pop out with Kevin Gates one day. And
Yeah.
then what you gonna say?
At that point, we'll have to come back on here, and I'm gonna have to eat that because I'll have to take all of it back. I'll take all of that back.
Hey, man, people live and they learn, man, and they make mistakes, man. So
Yeah.
we'll see, man. But hey, shout out to Lori Harvey, man, for staying out the rumor mill. And I guess Steve Harvey for for keeping that mustache greased up, bro. So shout out to y'all, I guess.
Well, he had to get something greased up. He couldn't get the he had to retire the enhancement tape line. He had to retire that enhancement tape line. So
Oh yeah,
got to keep something greased up.
that man unit. That's crazy, bro.